So now we enter session 5 in the presence process, and the present activation statement is, I compassionately embrace my innocence. I compassionately embrace my innocence. And my innocence, or my inner sense, is the same as my insight. It's related to that. So my innocence is related to the sense that I have coming out of my emotional body, which I access through a sense of feeling. This is where we enter work which we call inner child work. And inner child work is really not so much about the child, but about awakening the parent. And the child is there for us as a tool for us to awaken our parent. Because if we don't awaken the parent within us, we will consistently seek the parent outside of us. And that's looking for other people to fulfill our needs and wants. And we do this whenever we get into a relationship with anybody. If we don't tend to our unconscious needs and wants, then what happens is I meet somebody who I see my own dysfunctions in, reflected clearly, and that excites me, and I call that romance. And I go, this person can make me happy. And what I'm really saying is that if I can deal with what I see reflected in them, then I know I'll be happy. But I don't deal with what I see reflected in them. What I do is I try and change them. And I enter a relationship with them based on my needs and wants. And when I try and make someone else take care of my needs and wants, what I'm really doing is turning that person into my parent. So I marry someone and I immediately turn them into my mother or father. And once I've turned them into my mother and father, then I don't want to have a sexual encounter with them anymore. The intimacy is gone, because who wants to sleep with their parents? And I've done that to them because I'm unable to be my own parent, because I don't know how to take care of my own heart. I'm running around the world looking for someone else to do that for me. So heart work or inner child work is about me becoming my own parent. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to become my own family. So all the archetypes of the family that are placed there as archetypes to reflect specific things back to us about our emotional body. If I want to evolve emotionally and grow up as an emotional being, I have to become all of those for myself. In every family, there is born an individual, or sometimes two individuals, who we would call the black sheep of the family. They ring a bell to anybody. And what the black sheep of the family is really is the transformer in the family. I call it the changeling. Okay, the only one can make real changes in the dysfunctional patterns of the family. Because what keeps a family together is dysfunction, not love. What we share with our families is our dysfunction. So the changeling's job is to get to a point of awareness where they can make those changes within themselves, where they can transform within themselves, where they can enter divine alchemy. The rest of the family's job is to reflect what needs to be changed. The only problem is, because we're such reactive beings, initially what the changeling will do is try and change everyone in the family and go, I found this thing, it really works for me, why don't you do it? Which is a reactive behavior and again interference. So if we want to see what our emotional work is very clearly, what the work is we need to do, it's very easy. Go to a family gathering. The family is the clearest mirror of what needs to be worked on in our own heart. The family is a perfect barometer of whether you're doing this work authentically. The family will not lie. They'll always be an honest reflection of the work that we're doing within ourselves. The father is always about guidance. The mother is always about nurturing. The brother is always about lessons that we need to learn. And the sister is always about restoring balance or healing. If I'm in discord with my father, the level to which I am in discord with my father is the level to which I am refusing to learn how to be my own guidance. The level to which I am in discord with my mother is the level to which I am refusing to learn how to nurture myself. The level to which I am in discord with my sister is related to where I am not wanting to heal myself. And the discord that I have with my brother is about where I'm refusing to learn the life lessons I've come to learn. So what I do is I run to my mother for nurturing, and I wonder why I have an unbalanced relationship with her. It's not my mother's job to nurture me. It's my job to learn how to nurture myself. And wherein I'm refusing to do that and grow up and do it, I will have an unpleasant relationship with my mother, because she's going to reflect that to me. And as long as she reflects that, she remains my mother. She reflects that dysfunction that I've come to work with related to self-nurturing. The moment I learn how to nurture myself through response, not reaction, in other words, I'm not going to the gym to have a great body so that my buddies will be impressed, but if I'm taking care of my physical body because I love myself, as an act of love, as a response to myself, the moment I do that authentically, and the moment I learn how to authentically nurture myself, my mother will cease to be my mother. I will take on that role. I will have become my own mother. And my mother will then become my friend. She will no longer have to play that role. I won't have to play the son. She won't have to play the mother. We can now be friends. That is the barometer of the success that we're having with our emotional work. And it begins with working with my own heart. So the emotional body works through metaphor. That's the language of the emotional body. It doesn't work through understanding and analysis and all of that. It works through metaphor. And so when I want to work with my emotional body directly, a good way of doing that is calling it the child. There is no inner child unless I'm pregnant. The inner child is the emotional body. And we call it the child because if I want to have a healthy relationship with my emotional body, the model for that is how a parent has a healthy relationship with a child. When we're being upset by somebody, and we get the information, I'm feeling sad, we feel it in the physical body because that's where our awareness is when we start this emotional work. It's in a physical place. But really the truth of the matter is, it's the child that's sad. It's not the adult. When I'm getting upset, what's actually happening is I'm feeling what's going on with my heart, with the child in me. Whether I respond or react to that is going to determine whether that continues or whether I transform that. So knowing how to work with my heart and learning, because it's something I have to learn how to do. No one has taught me how to do that. The example set for me of how to work with a child was set by my parents. And they followed the example set for them by their parents, who followed the example set for them by their parents. And as we go further back, it gets darker and darker. And there's less awareness of really how to do this. So it begins with my relationship with my own heart. So if I am feeling fear, how am I going to respond to that in myself? Am I going to try and stop it? Don't be afraid. Nothing to be afraid about. Am I going to try and cover it up? Am I going to distract myself from it? Or am I going to be with it? So I compassionately embrace my innocence. It's really just about being with the heart in the state that it's in. It's the same with a child that comes forward that is afraid. And I just say to the child, I know you're afraid. It's quite all right to be afraid. Whatever happened to you frightened you, so you're afraid. That's exactly how it's supposed to be. And I will be with you through it. I'm not going to make you feel something else. I'm not going to judge what you're feeling. And when I'm with the child in that way, the child will go through its fear. It'll pass. It'll feel comforted by my presence. The fear will pass and it will go back out and play. But if I say, don't be afraid, now it has to create an inauthentic behavior to cover up what it's really feeling. It has to create an act. Every time it's afraid, it's now going to create an act, and then it goes into reactive behavior. So it's very important to teach the child, the heart, to be the parent to the heart, because the heart center is the causal point of our experience, and it follows our example all the time. The heart, or the child within us, as we can call it, sees us, the adult, as the parent now. It doesn't see us as part of itself. It sees us as the parent, and it watches our behavior towards it and towards the world around us. So if I say no when I mean yes, and yes when I mean no, do you think my heart is going to trust me when I say, oh, don't worry, I'll take care of you? If I can't stand up for myself and reach out for the things in the world that I'm wanting, do you think it's going to believe in me and listen to me? So the way I behave to others in the world, but more specifically the way I behave towards my own self with whatever I'm going through, is going to determine what my heart thinks is the right way of going about things. So if I have no compassion to myself, because my heart center is the causal point of my experience, I will manifest experiences in my life that are not compassionate, full of interference. Because the heart is the creator. The child is made in the image of God. That means the heart is the creative center of our experience. All children learn by example. When I'm sick, when I'm not feeling well, what do? Do I drive myself? Do I not allow myself to rest? What is the example I'm setting for myself here? So my behavior towards myself is going to set up my heart's idea of the type of world it's going to manifest for me to be in. It's the creator. So let's close our eyes and for a moment connect our breathing. Let's recall that upset that we brought with us, that we allow ourselves to call the messenger. And we asked some questions about that. And one of those questions were, how were we feeling in that moment that we got upset? And then when we allowed ourselves to feel that feeling, we discovered that there is a physical location for that feeling in the body, which enables us to anchor ourselves not only in the body, but come to the doorway of the emotional realm through feeling that sensation. Now we remind ourselves that it's not really us, the adult persona, that's going through that feeling. It's the heart that's going through that feeling, and therefore the child, the metaphor of the child within us. So it's a very simple way of working with this, of accessing the compassion. And that is, when you know that you're feeling afraid or angry or sad, just see yourself as a 5-year-old standing in front of you, the adult, feeling that way, because that's closer to the truth of what's going on. And when you see yourself as a 5-year-old standing in front of you feeling angry or sad or afraid, how do you respond to that? How do you respond to that part of yourself? Because however you choose to respond to that part of yourself is going to be the definition of love that you manifest in your experience every day. Open your eyes, come back. The more I take responsibility for that part of my experience, for the way that I'm interacting with my heart, when that becomes a consistent part of my behavior, I'm less likely to manifest drama in the world, because drama is all about me trying to get attention that I'm unable to give myself. That's all drama is. I'm looking for someone to be my mother or father in this world. When that's my job. If I want to grow up, that's my job. So it's about consistently being like that. Whenever I'm in discomfort, whenever things are challenging for me, how am I going to be with myself in that moment? When I'm really tired, how am I going to be with myself? Am I going to drive myself? Am I going to be loving towards myself? That's really important. Because when I learn to take care of myself on that level, I don't seek that out in other people, and I don't enter relationships with them that's based on need and want. Need, unresolved things from the past. Want, fearful things about the future. Then relationships I enter can be out of choice. And I can allow that person to be who they are. I won't turn them into something they're not. And then I don't enter the relationship wanting something. And if we've ever entered a relationship and exited very disappointed, it's because we wanted something and we didn't get it. Because we went in there full of need and want and expected this person to fulfill those. It's no one's job to do that. That's our job.